Why play Lissandra Support? Well, she brings solid poke, her engage is amazing, she brings tons of AoE lockdown, and she's a beast in a teamfight. However, she can get bullied by longer range supports, and she does get countered by cleanse. Lissandra's passive is whenever a nearby enemy champion dies, Lissandra creates a frozen copy of it. This copy will slow nearby enemies and chase them, and after 4 seconds they explode to deal massive damage in an area. Lissandra's Q is a straight line skill shot which deals damage to and slows enemies hit. If this hits an enemy, it then shatters, increasing its width and maximum range. Lissandra's W deals damage in a circle around her and roots all enemies hit. Lissandra's E is a straight line skill shot, which sends out a claw of ice which deals damage to enemies it passes through. Lissandra can reactivate this ability while it's traveling to blink to the current location of the claw. Lissandra's ultimate can be used in 2 different ways. If used on herself, it entombs her in ice, granting her stasis and heals her over the duration. And if used on an enemy champion, it is a point and click ability which knocks them down and stuns them. And regardless if it was used on herself or an enemy champion, it also creates a large circle around the target which deals massive magic damage to all enemies within and slows them. For combos, when engaging, start with E and then reactivate it into your W. From here, Q over as many targets as possible, then ult yourself to deal a ton of AoE damage. And when going for a kill, use E and then reactivate it into your W. Attack before following up with ultimate and your Q. For matchups, she is great into support who rely on dashing to engage, easily locking them down and returning a ton of damage. And she can struggle into high range bullies who sit out of her range. For runes, take this. Comet is pretty guaranteed with all the slows in your kit. For build order, start Wild Atlas and Pot into a Malignant and tier 2 boots. After this, Azonias and Morellos are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start Q then W then E before maxing Q then W then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Ignite. For Synergies, she works amazingly well with carries who can follow up her CC with even more lockdown. Starting the game, your main focus is going to be on poking and harassing the enemy, to make the game as difficult as possible for them while making it as easy as possible for your carry to farm. Lissandra's Q is only improved when used through minions, which forces your opponent to stay away from their minion wave. Your W is a great guaranteed way to lock down multiple targets. So if anything engages on you, rely on W to stop them and your Q to slow. And make sure to play safer when this is on cooldown. When you hit level 6, your kill threat is amazing. Especially if timed with a jungler gank, you can make the opponent sit still for such a long time while dealing tons of damage. Entering the mid game, take your tower as soon as possible and rotate mid with your carry. This puts 2 strong champions in the center of the map to rotate and siege. Entering late game teamfights, you can play in 2 different ways. You can play as your teams engage. Use E to go in, W to root them all, and ultimate yourself to keep yourself alive. If you follow this up with Zonias, it gives your team a ton of time to follow up. Otherwise, you can peel for your carry. Your Q's constantly slowing, your W's rooting, and your ultimate just stops anything from getting to them. Otherwise, it's all about getting that first kill to proc your passive. Your thralls simply do too much damage. And that's how to play Lissandra Support, and if you comment below 90 days in a row, you probably get a video too.